Chapter 1, The Power of a Personal Brand. The better you are packaged, the more public respect you will receive. David Schwartz. That's from The Magic of Thinking Big. Elon Musk doesn't run ads for Tesla. He doesn't need to. When Elon tweets, the stock market moves. That's the power of a personal brand. You are the brand. Let's get one thing straight. Your brand isn't a logo. It's not your website. It's not your job title. It's not your follower count or your latest post. You are your brand. It's your reputation digitized. It's the impression that enters the room before you do and the story that lingers long after you've left, right? And real quick, just a sidebar, I'm going to be speaking towards creating digitally a brand and branding yourself in the modern world. But just keep in mind, if you have bad character, it will shine through, right? If you're not a good person, people know that. So if you're reading this and you've got things to fix, we all have things to fix. Just make a note. I'm talking about a digital brand, and if you treat people bad, no matter what you do online, none of this is gonna matter. So just kind of adding my 2 cents there. So back to the script. Your reputation digitized. Before the internet, your brand was local. It lived in your town, your workplace, or your industry circle. But now it's global. As Jeff Bezos famously put it, your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. The real question isn't if you have a personal brand. The question is, what story is it telling? According to a 2023 LinkedIn survey, 75% of decision makers review your online presence before making a business decision about your company. That means people don't just buy your service, they buy your story. Branding isn't about you. One of the biggest myths about personal branding is that it's self-centered. But great branding isn't built on ego, it's built on service. Your brand is about how you make people feel, the problems you solve, how consistently you show up. Consider Oprah. She didn't build her empire by listing accolades. She built it by making people feel heard, seen, and understood. She showed up with authenticity, consistency, and curiosity. That's the formula. And you don't need a talk show to do the same. The world has changed. Let's face it. We meet people online before we meet them in person. Real quick sidebar on this. I recently saw data about this, and over half of the married couples on the planet right now met on the internet. Over half. I believe in the next 10 years, it's going to be 75%. In 20 to 30 years, it's going to be nearly 100% of people. There's going to be the minority 5 to 10% maybe that don't meet online. Just a sidebar there. Continuing with the text. We Google our dates, doctors, and dinner reservations. We check reviews before we buy anything. According to Nielsen, 92% of consumers trust personal recommendations more than brand advertising. In short, trust has shifted from corporations to individuals, and trust is built through visibility, not face-to-face handshakes, but digital footprints. In today's world, if you're not intentionally showing up online, you're missing opportunities every single day. The old mantra, if you're good enough, people will find you. The new truth, if you're not visible, you're invisible. Your personal brand is a responsibility. You may cringe at the word brand. It may feel cheesy or salesy, but avoiding it doesn't make it go away. You already have a personal brand. It's just a matter of whether you're owning it or letting others define it. And here's the thing. If you own it, it becomes a strategic advantage. If you ignore it, it becomes a liability. It isn't about being fake. It's about being clear. Ask yourself, who am I? What do I believe? Who do I serve? When you can answer these questions with clarity, your brain simply then becomes just an extension of those questions. Authenticity wins. Here's the best news of all. You don't need to be famous. You don't need to be a professional studio or viral video, or you don't need a professional studio or viral video. You just need to be real. People crave authenticity, not polish. They're drawn to people who are in process, not just those who have arrived. According to a 2021 Edelman Trust Barometer, 61% of consumers said a brand being authentic was more important than the product being innovative. Did you hear that? Over 61% of consumers said a brand's authenticity is more important than the brand's innovation. So People care about authenticity more than anything. Look at Oprah again. Her vulnerability was a revolution. She talked about pain, loss, insecurity, faith, forgiveness, openly, publicly, and millions of people flocked to her. Your greatest brand asset isn't perfection, it's your story told with truth and conviction. Final thought. Here's what you need to remember. You're already influencing people. You're already telling a story. You're already leaving digital footprints. The question is, are you doing it on purpose? Because in a world where everyone is watching, the people who own their story are the ones who lead. Your brand is your reputation digitized. Your story is your strategy. Your authenticity is your advantage. So that's a wrap on chapter 1. You're going to love it. These chapters are super short and succinct. I wrote this for primarily Gen Z and millennials, people that want to be able to create influence but aren't sure where to start. Because, again, when you look at the surface, you think you have to be famous or you have to have some crazy niche or, you have to be some sort of TikTok dancer or some motivational talking head. And the reality is there are people out there every day creating influence by being their best version of themselves and sharing that with the world. And so this really comes down to sharing. Are you sharing? Sharing is caring. Are you sharing with people? Or are you hoarding all your ideas to yourself? Are you public about your quest, about your vision, about your mission, about your business, about your beliefs, about your religion, about your preferences? Or are you more reserved about those things? By the way, the people that impact people are not reserved about those things. They speak their mind. They speak up. If you're going to be reading this book, you're going to realize I have a faith bend. And as somebody that believes in God, I think that if you look at the story, the greatest story ever told, if you read the Bible, Jesus, while he didn't document himself, he didn't at all. He actually wrote none of the Bible, which is interesting. But a lot of it was him speaking and him creating and him out there in the market sharing his ideas. And because of that, they took root, took hold, and have impacted the whole world. And so I would just encourage you today, soak it in. You are the brand. You don't need to do anything else. You already have enough. You're ready to get started where you are. And so in these next few chapters, I'm going to equip you with what you need to go ahead today and get started. So with that, this concludes chapter 1 of Everyday Influencer, the power of a personal brand.